Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in our pledge to our flag and country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor?
Loving God of heaven and earth, we come committing this meeting to you for your blessing. Help us as we are gathered here together. We pray for wisdom in the matters at hand, and please clearly guide us how to conduct the work before us with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to be the best we can be. Thank you that you are always among your people and that you provide for and sustain us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. I call to order our Guthrie Public Works Authority meeting of August 3rd. Second item on the agenda is public comments, community announcements, recognitions. I believe we have one community comment. Anita Plummer. Would you come to the podium, state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes.
I bet I can say it in 5 minutes. I've written it down.
Okay, good.
My name is Anita Plummer Owen. My address is 1409 North Canyon Way, Guthrie. And what else do I need to tell you?
That's it. What's your comment?
This concerns a dog attack in our neighborhood, and it was my dog. And I am quite aware that there's some new leash laws, but they were not followed that day. So I'm thankful for my neighbor who's here tonight, who took me to the veterinarian. I'm thankful that my dog is going to get his stitches out on Friday. And I'm thankful for the police who came very quickly to help me. And I'm thankful for God because I'm alive to tell you what happened. But I'm very concerned, and so this is what I wrote to you. And I said this: what can we do to make our neighborhood safe for walking and playing? Dog attacks are happening too often in Guthrie. And the reason I say that is, while I was at the police station last week, there was another gentleman there, and he was sharing what happened to him, actually what happened to his wife. And they live in the other side of Guthrie, the south side. I live in the north side. And she was she was hurt enough that the man's going to get a lawyer for that one. But that we should be there at the same time, and he's filling out paperwork as well. So I said, we know that there are laws and ordinances in place for our protection. I know that. But do they go far enough? And this is my incident. It was on Friday, July 23rd. I was walking my dog. And little did I know, but there was an unleashed dog lying hidden by the front porch of my neighbor's home. And my neighbors were nowhere in sight. As we walked past their house, and we walk mostly in the middle of the street, and sometimes along the side, as we walked past their house, their dog ran out, and he attacked my dog, and tearing a large gash in his neck. I used my dog's leash as my weapon, and I screamed for help. And actually, I screamed, "Jesus, help me," and more. And the dog backed off. And I called animal rescue, and 2 officers responded quickly. I was so grateful. And then I say, well, my dog was lucky because he received immediate care from the vet, and he required a lot of stitches. Many animals have died after vicious attacks like this. And this incident was very frightening. My neighbors and I enjoy walking our dogs without fear in our neighborhood. And that's just every day. We walk our dogs together a lot of the time. We enjoy doing that. But this incident has threatened us all. And our neighborhood includes very young children and senior adults. And safety is my number one concern, as it should be, for the entire city. People must know where their dogs are, especially if their dogs are prone to attack people or animals. In Guthrie, the fine for an unleashed dog is $235. The fine for a vicious dog, $600. And that doesn't count my vet bill, and I'm not asking for any help with that. But Guthrie citizens must follow the ordinances already in place. And my hope is that the city of Guthrie will strengthen those ordinances to make us safer. I was surprised to learn that vicious dogs, which have attacked other animals or people, are allowed to stay in the city limits. In my situation, actually, I think the owner decided to relocate the dog, but I don't know that yet. It hasn't, anyway, I don't know that yet. My solution for the problem would be to ban vicious dogs from the city of Guthrie. If they're going to attack, I feel like they shouldn't be in the city so it happens again. So I would like to offer, if you want to pursue this, to be on a committee. I would like to help solve this problem. And I'm not I'm not a person to normally get involved, but this has really challenged our whole neighborhood, and many of us have been frightened, to say the least, about what happened to my dog. They all love my dog, and I do too. We love each other in our neighborhood, and so I just want it to be safe. So thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for those comments.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody on the council have any questions?
I have a question,
Ms.
please.
Long?
Did you know the dog was vicious prior to this day, or did you know the dog prior to this day, or have any contact?
I had seen the dog. He hadn't bothered me before, but he has. And there's another lady in our neighborhood. One day she was walking, and I don't think she was hurt, but she was scared to death, and he ran up to her. And her husband came back to the home and threatened the people
So
to
nothing
shoot
was
the dog.
filed as a result of that?
No, I asked her, I said, did you file? And she said no.
What kind of dog is it, do you know?
I really believe this is a pit bull. And I haven't talked to the owner because I'm just waiting for the right time, but they're friendly people. And maybe it was just a mistake. Dogs get out. But this one had been roaming the neighborhood for at least a day. So-
Thank you for your comments
Sure.
and your willingness to be a part of a solution group. We'll be taking that under advisement, city staff. Well, the ordinances, the fines are pretty substantial, as you identified, are pretty substantial in those cases. But I understand where you're coming from.
Because it was substantial, I thought, my vet bill, if I had to pay all of that, if I had to pay it, that would be, I would probably have to say goodbye to my dog. That was, I mean, that's a lot.
Okay, all right,
So, thank you.
okay, thank you. Item number 3, consent agenda items A and B. A is the approval of the Public Works Authority meeting of July 20th. B is the approval of budget amendment number 3, amending the budget for the stabilization fund. Entertain a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on those items? Submit your votes. See the votes. Unanimous approval of consent agenda items A and B for everybody present. That being the last item on our Public Works Authority meeting agenda, we are adjourned. We open up our City Council meeting of August 3rd. Consent agenda items A, B, C, and D. A is the approval of the minutes of special City Council workshop held on July 20th. B is the approval of the minutes of the City Council meeting of July 20th. C is the approval of budget amendment number 3, as previously stated, with Public Works, the General Stabilization Fund. And D is the approval of purchase of 6 Cantalier shades for Banner Park and Mineral Wells Playground. I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Second. Tracy? Okay. Any other discussion of those 4 items? Submit your votes. Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval, consent agenda items A, B, C, and D. Item number 3, discussion and possible action regarding the subsequent 12-month extension of the previously agreed upon MOU between Neutron Holdings, which is the line vehicles, and the City of Guthrie. Leroy?
Justin's going to report on that, but short and sweet. We've had the 3 months. They're interested in extending it, and we've not had any complaints to speak of relative to the use of it. So staff would recommend that we give it a 12-month agreement now, and it's subject to 90-day termination if we choose to terminate it early.
Justin?
The only feedback I've gotten directly from folks in the community primarily has just been folks asking how it works, what are the processes, who picks them up when they're in random places, those kind of things. Like Leroy said, the extension of the agreement is for 12 months, but either party, either the city or the scooter company, a 90-day notice, and this agreement can be chucked if we want to. But for the most part, I think that some of the initial complications have kind of worked themselves out, and the company itself has been very responsive. Whenever I've had questions or concerns with them, they tend to just take care of stuff.
So apparently they're happy with how it turns out.
Yes, sir. I think that eventually they'd like to see the numbers climb, obviously, because they make money that way. But for right now, for the first 3 months, they seem to be pretty happy with it.
And they can always return them to Ash and Warner on the corner, right?
Of course. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the only comment that I've heard has to do with wearing the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And who's enforcing that, and so on and so forth. I know you have helmets available at your office, I believe you told me.
Yes, sir.
And I have seen, most of the people that I've seen have had helmets on, but that's the only concerning point that has been brought to my attention.
Since there isn't a helmet ordinance with the city, there's nothing that the city can enforce on that end. The company itself would have to enforce that somehow, and I'm not sure how they would necessarily do that. I can see the concern over that, but I'm not sure how it would be enforced other than the city having some sort of helmet ordinance.
I'm going to make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Submit your votes. See the votes. Unanimous approval then to move forward with a 12-month extension of the MOU with Neutron
Thanks,
Holdings.
Justin, on that.
Item number 4, discussion possible action to adopt and approve ordinance number 3359 for a rezoning from C2 to A1. Dan, you got 5 minutes.
There goes our early leaving.
Stay 2. Yes, C2 to A2, which is our suburban district, but it's an agricultural district. But as you indicated, this is rezone. It's on West Triplet Road, which is in the southwest part of town. C2 probably is not the appropriate zoning for the parcel. It's too far inward. The applicant was looking to have more ag-related uses on their property, so they obviously put in the rezone from C2 to A2. The Planning Commission recommended approval 3-0 from C2 to A2 at their July 8th meeting. So with that, if you have any questions for me.
Any questions?
Are they gonna run cattle, horses? Is that what they're gonna do? Or do you?
I don't know if there's I think they may have more animals, but not at a large scale. In that it sounded like maybe crops or some that.
It's only an acre and a half, right?
Right, yeah. My understanding is they also have some farming related stuff on another property, so they just wanted to be able to do it on this property as well.
I'll move we approve.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes, please.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval to move forward with that ordinance number 3359 for that zoning change. Item number 5, discussion possible action on a request for special use permit for a telecommunication tower.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The property is located over right across from Tractor Supply. There's a storage unit to the west. It's the parcel that's right at I-35 and East College there on the west side. They're looking to put the 150-foot tower there. It's a 4.14 acre parcel, but they have a lease area of 6,400 square feet. The council may remember that we had an ordinance recently that changed some of the setback requirements. They are in compliance with that. They provided the engineer's letter, which was provided to you for the proper fall zone and the setbacks. And all the other aspects of our current code are being met with this tower. So the Planning Commission had recommended approval 3-0 to allow for the telecommunications tower and support facilities.
No neighbor complaints or any of that stuff?
No, had not gotten any. There was none at the public hearing, nor any phone calls or written.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval for that special use permit for that telecommunication tower. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on a letter of support for the Contranet Fiber subsidiary of Central Rural Electric Corporation. Are you handling that, Justin?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've got a few slides, but feel free to stop me at any point and ask questions. I probably won't know the answers to those questions, but I will try to answer them. As a little bit of background, just about every week, Shonda Rooney in Economic Development is submitting proposals to industries, companies who are looking to relocate to central Oklahoma. Almost every single one of them they need fiber broadband internet as one of their list of things that they've got to have. So just as kind of a foundational thing, that's going to be more and more important for us as a community to recruit businesses. On that note, in August, there's going to be a federal grant opportunity for quite a bit of money to expand fiber broadband into rural areas. One of the eligibility requirements for that particular grant is a government entity and a broadband provider. The letter of support that's being requested in your packet, in that agenda item, is coming from a subsidiary of CREC, the electric co-op. And the document, the letter of support wouldn't be a legal agreement. We're not committing any funding. All we're basically saying is, hey, this is a good idea. And what CREC and their subsidiary, Centranet, I'm going to fast forward a little bit through this. what they are wanting to do is expand outside of their service area where they usually just provide electricity. They're already providing fiber internet to some of their customers, and they want to expand into those other communities like Guthrie, Cashin, other places, or Cushing, sorry, not Cashin. Could be Cashin, I can't remember. Anyway, one of the requirements for the grant is the government entity has to be the fiscal agent for that proposal. Cushing at this point has signed on to be their fiscal agent and kind of the sponsor of the grant, but they're asking for a letter of support from the City of Guthrie so we can participate in that kind of the regional application. Let's see, we covered that. In the areas where they are expanding and installing the fiber internet, this just kind of talks about what kind of service they provide. The 100 megabytes per second and then the 1,000 megabytes per second, that up down, that's quite a bit faster than what most people will get here locally. And this is what they provide now to the customers where they've already built out in other areas. Let's see. Staff met with Centranet on the 26th just to kind of get an overview of what they're looking at. And what staff is recommending tonight is just an approval to fashion that letter of support to go along with their grant application later this month. There is a webinar, I believe, tomorrow that kind of goes into some more of the finer details of that grant that staff is going to participate in. We've reached out to the City of Cushing to get some more information from them. We haven't heard back from them as of yet. Their city manager has been out of the office, I believe, until yesterday or today. So we haven't heard back yet, but we're still going to try to get some more information from Cushing on how that would work with them being the fiscal agent and providing the funding through Centranet to build out the broadband in the other communities. The application is due on the 17th. The award of that particular grant from the federal government would be in November. And the funding range between $5 million and $30 million to expand the fiber optic broadband in our area. Let's see. There's not a matching or cost sharing requirement in that grant, but they do. What's the word? They want to see it. You get extra points if you provide a matching amount. The good thing is that Centranet will be providing that matching amount. They're not asking for it from Guthrie or from the other communities.
All they're asking from us is a letter of agreement that they can bring fiber into our community.
They just want a thumbs up.
Yeah.
They're not asking for money or a matching component from us. So, any questions about Centranet?
You know what the approximate cost is to bring this fiber optic here?
I don't know if a cost estimate from Centranet, unless I'm forgetting something from a meeting.
The fiber broadband service levels, they project at $55 a month for 100 Mbps upload and download, and $85 a month for 1 Gbps upload and download.
See, that would be the cost of the subscriber,
But you're talking tens of millions of dollars,
wondering
Steve.
what the total.
Steve,
Yes.
you're talking tens of millions of dollars to get it here, is what you're talking.
But not to us.
Not to us.
Right. No, I
That's
understand.
why it's government grants through the
Understand.
FCC. It's
Right.
who's going to regulate that.
In a conversation with Sioux Falls, with their engineer who worked with a different company to expand broadband in Sioux Falls, which is a bigger city than us, I think he told me that the investment was around $18 million. So, but I think based on some conversations with some other folks, it sounds like it would probably be in that,
Because
$15,
we're so
$20
far
million.
away from the hubs of downtown Oklahoma City that have to be burrowed out here is what the situation is. Or
And-
from Stillwater.
Right. And with Centranet, it sounded like most of their infrastructure would be like boring crews going underground. That simplifies things in terms of not having to have extensive pole attachment agreements with OG&E. Since we don't have a municipal electric utility, they would have to have that agreement with OG&E to run stuff, above
They're
ground.
entrenched just like a cable's trench to your yard, to your house.
So are there any downsides to this?
You might have to wear a tin hat or something.
I think that the only,
Light up.
I wouldn't call this a downside, mostly because it's not my department. But for the planning office and code enforcement, there would be just a little more of a, Dan's laughing at me. The permitting process, just making sure that contractors are going through that process correctly, kind of cleaning up their mess as they go, because there would be a really extensive construction process all over town. But just managing the permitting and the construction, making sure that's going smoothly, answering questions from the public as those construction crews are going through town. So that's probably like and I wouldn't call that a downside, but it's staff time and that kind of stuff that's complicated, but kind of the price of doing business these days.
Well, the big deal is the 100 meg up and down. Typically, it's throttled on the upload to where you're getting 5 to 10 meg up and 100 meg down. It's like in my house, I get 500 meg by 10. So you get 500 meg down, which you never get through Cox, and 10 meg up, which you always get. So that's a big deal at $55, and it's going to do a lot more for just business. It's going to do it for you and I. And the more of those we can bring in, the better off we're going to be. We don't want to just limit it to one. You want to have as many fiber options as you can get, because that drives competition down, drives price down.
Hey, Brian, I was going to ask, doesn't UCO and OU and OSU, don't they have fiber optic connections right now? Because I've seen that along I-35. Isn't that the white pole with the orange top on it? And they put that in there about 5-6 years ago. And then and AT&T, I know, comes out. They keep sending me stuff all the time, telling me that they'd like to hook us up. But then when you tell them where you live at, they say,
They say forget.
AT&T recently did some upgrades in the northeast part off of Walnut, Mockingbird, and the Hill Edition. That was for their fiber optic.
Okay.
Well, AT&T's another one. They're like $50 for 40 meg up, and 40 meg down, and not even 5 meg up.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval from those councilmen present to proceed with a letter of support for that fiber optic cable.
Thank you.
Item number 7, city manager report. Leroy.
There's no additional reports tonight.
Okay. Item number 8, comments from members of city council. I'd just like to start on behalf of all the council and the citizens, congratulating Leroy on the recognition that you recently got from the City Manager Association, I guess, statewide. The award, which is given once a year, I understand. So it's quite an honor to be selected as the outstanding city manager of the state for the year.
Thank you.
It's kind of like teacher of the year, isn't it?
Kind of. Thank you.
That's the Gerald Wilkins Award?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very, very nice recognition. Very, very nice. Okay, Councilman Bothroyd.
I got nothing.
Councilman Long.
This Saturday night is Red Brick Nights, so hope you guys all come out to join us.
Councilman Channel.
Is that the one with the free beer? I'm not sure about that, but I couldn't remember. Bring your dollar bills to buy some just in case. Okay.
Leroy, you were well deserved with your reward. We're lucky to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Williams.
I concur with my fellow Ward 3. I'm impressed with Leroy, and I'm thankful that he's here.
Thank you.
Councilman Taylor.
Thank you, staff. I know you guys are putting some time on this, on fiber optics, building projects, whatever you're doing, and appreciate it. Kenny, thanks for what you guys are doing too. I know it's getting some of the stuff mowed down. I know you're shorthanded, so hey, I mean, if you need a job, City of Guthrie's looking for some. So whether it's police, fire, you know, all our guys out there at the headquarters of maintenance, so they need help. Other than that, congratulations, Leroy.
Thank you.
Got opportunities again to serve in Parks and Forestry. I believe we still have vacancies in those two committees, and the airport also. Go to the city website. You can check that out for other vacancies if there are any. Applications are online, or you can get a hard copy, but directions are all right there in the City of Guthrie website. So go there. Last thing I have, obviously our numbers in terms of COVID are going up. It's everybody has their rights and responsibilities, I guess you might say. But clearly we're not at the end of this COVID thing. So take whatever precautions you feel are appropriate. If you haven't got a vaccine, consider it, and just be careful when you're out there in large groups, because again, this thing's coming back at us. We need to be aware and protect yourself, protect your others that are around you. With that, ladies and gentlemen,